understand the need for SAP HANA, explain SAP HANA as an application platform, find additional documents. So S4HANA basically uh, we have discussed like it is in-memory technology. This uses the in-memory technologies and suboptimal execution speed. So earlier we were having user frustrations, lack of responsiveness, need for aggregation tables. So those were taking a lot of time. Okay. So but in-memory data, in-memory technology, because of the production of this technology, this all overcomings has been taken care of. Lack of transparency, outdated figures, guessing current situation, missing opportunities, a reactive business model, unsupportable business process, competitive disadvantages. So here like hardware technology. So it's a multi-core architecture. So up to 32 sockets with 28 core sockets, massive parallel scaling with many nodes. Multi-core means at the same time you can run multiple things in the application. So 64-bit, basically this requires the 64-bit. Uh, Systems would have the 64-bit and 24 TB in current servers. SAP software technology, columnar and row store, compression of data, partitioning of data. If the volume is very high, so we can do the partition into multiple. No aggregate tables any longer required. Insert only on delta. Again, the in-memory capabilities. So multi-core architecture, 1, 2, 3. So multiple things you can run at the same time. This is the benefit of multi-core architecture. Memory, row and columnar store. So this is row store like this. If we are storing, so this is row store. Columnar store is like this. Okay. Partitioning. So partitioning. So if this is the total, then it could be partitioned into multiple. Compression. So data will be in the compressed form. Unused data we can like this is the one of the best benefit. And in the past, this was the like input output bottleneck were there, which has been resolved now because of this in-memory technology. Insert only on delta, so it only inserts the delta things. Okay. Storage this solid state flash SDD, so it uses the flash drive. So flash is always faster compared to solid and SDD. Okay. SAP HANA design. So SAP HANA is different by design. It stores all data in memory and in compressed columnar form, right? Because SAP HANA has this different design, it does not require sums, indexes, materialized views, or aggregates. This reduces the database footprint. Everything is calculated on demand and in main memory. This process makes it possible for companies to run online transaction processing, OLTP, and analytical applications on the same instance at the same time. Okay. It allows for all type of real-time specific queries and analysis. Row versus column store table in RAM. So basically, table A as row table in DRAM and select AC from table A. So A is the DRAM here. Okay. So like in basically in the columnar store. So this is how you basically do the store in this format. Okay. And in the row format, you DBMS. Row format is basically your DBMS format. Okay. The earlier technologies. We don't require to know much about these things. But anyway, I will explain in detail about this row and columnar approach. So deployment options, what are the deployment options we have? Single host configuration, multi-host configurations. So like this is my host, SAP HANA database. So here you could see multiple HANA database can be used by the same. Okay, so this is called multiple host. Okay, shared persistency. Here you could see this is shared, and this is like you have a dedicated server kind of situation. Okay, so SAP HANA database name server, index server, SAP host agent, node 2, node n, node 1. Okay, this is the example of multi-host configuration. So single host will have only single host. Okay, SAP HANA as an application platform. So this is the architecture of SAP HANA platform. SQL script Java, and this is the query, which is like once the user requests for something, so query is run behind it, and that it reaches the database and fetch the records to the end user in the presentation layer. Okay, so this is the HANA application platform. SAP HANA as an application platform. So browser device, maybe your computer, your laptop, something sort of. So here you could see it's like advanced router, HTML. So these all things can be used in the application layer. Sorry, yeah, application layer. There is on the top you have the presentation layer. Then within this we have the application layer, and then below we have the database layer. Okay, so this is divided in three layers. Okay, so browser device access advanced application router, HTML, Node.js, Java, C++. This is supported by the application layer. These are the languages. Okay. So SAP HANA XSC, front-end technology, HTTP, HTML, SAP UI, client-side JavaScript. So when we talk about Fury app presentation layer, so these technologies can be used here. So UI5, UI5, HTML, this all things are used for designing the layout of the screen, right? Control flow technology, OData, server-side JavaScript, XML. So this is the presentation layer, means how the present like your screen looks like. Then it will query from your database. So query part is done by the OData. So generally, if you sometime you might heard about it, we have to consume the OData. So OData means basically uh, APIs. Okay, so APIs we can consume to retrieve the data from database or to write back the data from presentation layer to this database layer. Okay, in database for calculation purpose, SQL script, calculation engine function, application functionality library. Those all things are used here. Sorry, I missed to ask one thing. Like all you remember now, our study session, what we have covered, AC Doka, single source of truth and all. We have here uh, in the single source of truth. So you would find in AC Doka, the data is from asset, data is from subledgers, data is from CO, data is from asset accounting, data is from GL accounting. So all is getting stored in the single source of truth, universal general table. This is also called single source of truth, universal general or ACDOCA. So ACDOCA is the table name. So general ledger, profitability, material ledger, asset accounting, management accounting, and CO. Management accounting basically is your CO part. Okay. This is my header. This is my line item. It stores the line item. So we saw like ACDOCA line item have the length of 6 digits. Earlier in VSEC, we were having the line item number length of 3 digits. So there was a limitation of triple line. So that limitation has been taken care of now in this S4 HANA system. Okay. HANA is basically database, right? This multi-gap capability. Yeah, so these are the benefits. Siroka contains all the fields needed from GL, CO, AML, profitability analysis. So all the fields you can find in the single source of truth, single table. Okay. Earlier we used to have a different tables. So these are the these are the tables of asset accounting. Now we have these many tables: FAT doc IT, FAT plan values, FAT YDDA related to assets, HERO plan, BKPF. Then these tables uh, details you can find in HERO. Okay, and this exists as a compatibility views. So we also know like account-based COPA and condition-based COPA. So data flow from condition to the profitability. So that is called as the condition-based COPA. And here in this case, account the data flows to COPA. So account means basically it's a kind of real-time integration. So no like the many reconciliation activities has been removed now. Okay. So these all concepts we saw last time: audibility, simplicity, benefits. So these are the benefits of introduction of this new table. So this is a in functional perspective you would find this kind of benefit. Technical perspective you will find this kind of benefits. In memory HANA database, introduction of UI based technologies. So earlier we were able to use only the through the GUI. Okay, but now you can access it through tablets, mobile phone, etc. So they have been in the front end, they have introduced the UI based technologies. Okay. So we saw like GLT0, index table, LFC. Uh, these tables have been removed now. Okay. This this index table and total tables are index table. These are the index tables, right? So these are no longer means these details you can find in the single source of truth Siroka. This still exists, but as a views, not as the table. Okay. Yeah. So control flow logic, presentation logic, and calculation logic. So calculation logic uses these technologies for the calculation: SQL query, SQL script query, calculation engine function, control flow technologies. So data flow happens through we uses these technologies: XML, OData, XML server side JavaScript. Then front end we use these technologies to build our front end screen. So front end designing is done using these technologies. You can get more details using these references. Okay, you can refer to this reference link. SAP HANA modeling. Modeling refers to an activity of refining or slicing data in database tables by creating views or to depict business scenario. The views can be used for reporting and decision making. The modeling process involves the simulation of entities such as customer, product, and sales, and the relationships between them. These related entities can be used in analytics applications such as SAP Business Objects, Explorer, or Microsoft Office. In SAP HANA, these views are known as the information views. These use various combinations of content data, that is, non-metadata, to model a business use case. Modeling overview. So content data can be classified as follows. So maybe from tomorrow onwards, or maybe from today itself, we'll start doing the configuration and all in the system itself directly. Okay. So maybe this will be little boring at this moment. I can understand, but yeah, like once we will like start doing the hands-on, then these things will give you more clarity. Although we don't have the system to do the comparison, how was the SAC system looks like, and this is for HANA, the what the changes it brings with it. So these things we will uh, we we won't be able to compare, but we will see the benefits. Means whoever is working in ACC, they would be able to compare and understand. Okay, so it is good to know because uh, even you are very good in functional perspective, but you should also know some technical things as well. So it is good for you. Okay, so these all things is not necessarily that you are knowing it, but at least you will get a flavor to what the changes, what the benefits that S/4HANA brings with it. Okay, content data can be classified as attributes. So descriptive data such as customer ID, city, and country. Measure, so quantifiable data such as revenue, quantity sold, counters, etc. User can create the following information: attribute views, analytical views, calculation views. So basically, if you do some kind of Fury app designing now, so you would find like different type of views you can utilize, or BW modeling. So if you use the HANA, mm, what we call it, Eclipse system, so you can create the views there. Okay, so that is done by either basis team or mostly are used by the BW person. So once they go for the creation of views, so they get a multiple kind of options: attribute, analytical, calculation, which kind of views they wanted to be. Okay, so SAP HANA modeling. So this uses native HANA models can be developed in the new XSA development environment. Okay, using SAP Web ID and SAP HANA. So Web ID means once you have to create any kind of OData services, then we require this SAP Web ID access and all. Okay. Anyone of you heard about this SAP Web ID OData services? No. Okay. So it's like now, see, you have this SAP system, right? So you have to use in this say in web page. Okay. So how the data will be exposed securely to this web page, because this is a different thing. Okay, so basically we have the web id. So in the web id the code would be written like the same way, the the way we write in the ABAP program. So select the data from there, bring this fields, but we kind of create a kind of api is like suppose like we do the booking in railway tickets, right? So railway tickets we log in through IRCTC. IRCTC is a web page that is used by a uh, kind of either Chrome kind of browsers. Okay, Chrome, Mozilla, Edge. So these are the browsers. Okay, so when we book the ticket, same time you would notice like the same is getting reflected. Okay, earlier the seat available were 12. Now the only 11 seats are left. Okay, so there is an interaction between this web page and the your database is happening, right? This is your say web page. Okay, this is your database. You can say. So this is say your IRCTC database. Okay, it would be Oracle or something other database IRCTC. Okay, so we are booking the tickets through web page, right? But once we book the tickets, it shows you like what is the available number of seats, right? And so many other information. So how does this interaction happens? So this happens through the API. Okay, so we need to build the API. API are consumed. API are basically so this is basically your happens through API. This consumer consumes the API. So API are developed, okay, in the supported language. So supporting language could be like this is your front end. So front end basically it might use your HTML language or maybe UI5. So whatever it. So similarly, you can compare this with your SAP Fury apps. So SAP Fury apps are used here from web API is basically OData, okay, in SAP language. This is your SAP system. So SAP will have your database, then you have your, okay, this is the process. So we are exposing our data to web, but we have to securely expose the data. So in between there is a the certificate are like basically used here, applied here, okay, so that it cannot be hacked and it can be accessed through the only the intended person, not other person would be able to view or access this data. So we basically provide our user ID and password, then only we could be able to access the data from SAP system. So this is HANA Studio, okay, where basically developers build the HANA views and all. This is used by the BW person. Okay, we are not, we don't use it. I have never built any views or any. Which we were talking about attribute view on all that. That is not required. So HANA Studio, just ignore this one. So like this, we access the SAP system, okay, directly through the GUI. So this is your GUI screen. So here, like you can double click on this one. It will open through the your this page is opening in your browser. Okay. So here, that's what I was trying to explain. Keep this browser is accessing the SAP tables. Okay. So if we perform any action from here, or if you wanted to view anything from this SAP system, so there in that case we will use the analytical app. Okay. So now it is possible to access the SAP system through the this web page. Okay. So how this interaction is happening? So this is happening because of the OData. So we create the OData. This page is designed by your UI5 HTML technology. Okay, and in between the query, if I'm trying to run any analytical report, or if I wanted to post any transactions, so it will also update in your SAP system and fetch the data from SAP system. How this is happening? So using the OData system. These models supersede older artifacts like analytical and attribute views. These views should be now be replaced by graphical calculation views. This can be used to model complex OLAP business logic. Native HANA modeling provides various options to tune performance. So as I mentioned, if this views is basically developed by your, if I go to the home page, so we could see the HANA Studio. In the HANA Studio, they basically create the views and all. Okay. So this is used by HANA Studios are used by technical person. Okay. Maybe BW or um, basis person. Attribute views. Attribute views in SAP HANA modeling are created on top of dimension tables used to join dimension tables and or other attribute views. Use to join dimension tables or used in analytical and calculation views for analysis to pass the master data. Used for performance optimization in large size dimension tables. Used to model master data to give some context. Attribute view. So analytical view is in the form of star schema where we join one fact table to the multiple dimension tables. So you understand this part, fact table, multiple dimension tables. used to perform complex calculation and aggregate functions. Used to run start. So this is basically analytical function is used for complex calculation and aggregates, similar to info objects or info sets of BW. Schema queries. Calculation view is used to consume other analytical attribute F, okay, views and other calculation views, and base column tables used to consume analytical attribute and other calculation views used to perform complex calculation which are not possible with other views. Two ways to create calculation views: SQL editor and graphical editor. This is basically ADSO and all these things are used by the BW persons. So info provider, info objects, I'm not sure. This ADSO is basically info objects. Okay. So I'm not sure if you might have heard about it. So BW models in native HANA. So we are doing the BW modeling. So this is the flow. Okay. Once we create it, so it creates a SIS BIC generated CB. Then here synonyms for that we can give the synonyms, and this is used by this HANA views and all this. This is used by the BI tools. So this is the native HANA, okay, and BW modeling is done here in native HANA system. Not much required for us to know about it. Okay, so source means we are referring to SAP database. The source views means it does not store any data. Okay, on top of database of SAP, we can create the views. Okay. So basically, we can use the join function. So how many types of join function? Inner join, outer join. There are n number of join functions. Okay. Even when we write some program, so what we write, the join tables, BKPF, BSIP, and we need some kind of fields. Say, for example, from BKPF, we want username, posting date. BKPF, we want posting date. BKPF, we want key code. BKPF, we want posting date. So these are the details we want from BKPF table. Reference field, so reference, and we want from basic. What are the things we want? We want suppose account, GL account. Then we want say payment terms if it is related to vendors and all customers. So we would be interested in knowing the payment terms or net due date for particular line item. Okay, so those information we collect from basic tables. So if we join these two tables, we can get the output in one line, the data from BKPF and basic together. So these are the basically views. Okay, this kind of views we can develop. Okay, multiple the data from multiple source. So suppose when we open FB03, so we could see only the vendor account number and vendor name. Okay, but we wanted to develop one report where we wanted to see the telephone number also. So how we could achieve it? So we will add one more table, LFA1, and we bring the data from address details from LFA1 of the vendor. Like that, we can join all these three tables together and we can create the reports. Okay. These all things here we do the transactions analysis. So we do the prepare the report in BW system. So this is online analytical tool. Okay, accelerator. So versus transaction plus analysis directly in memory via HANA. So these were the steps we were following in our traditional BI system, but now we could perform OLAP transaction, OLTP, and OLAP together in the same instance. Okay, so it's like kind of, so what was happening earlier when we do the posting in ECC system, so that was getting replicated in BW system. So there were some gap or say delay between the updates. If any job fails, then you won't be able to find the data in BW system. Now this is happening in the real time. Means once the data is posted, you can immediately reflect and see in the report. Okay. Again, this is talking about this open interface HTTP, OData, SQL, MDX. So this one is SAP HANA platform, Access Engine. So which engine uses this OData services with resources? So Access Engine, customer extensions. So any query requested by customers, so that can be provided. Database layer. So this is your database layer. This is your front-end layer. Okay. And in between the OData, so we will develop the Fury team will develop the OData, and this will be consumed by the presentation layer. Means by say GUI or by say this Fury. This browsers. We can access it through tablets. We can access through using the browsers. Okay. Integrated stack. Then here we have front end SAP Business Suite like ECC and all ERP systems is there. Then below that we have SAP HANA database. Yeah, underlying. So on top of this HANA base, so whatever we post the transactions that get stored here in SAP HANA database. Integrated stacks. So BOBJ, HTML5, any other front end. So these are the integrated stacks. So this is how the embedded analytics reports looks like. So you would see this kind of reports in your Fury. Transactional app. There are other analytical tools also available like Lumira, Smart Business Objects and all. Okay, but this is how your Fury app looks like. So benefit of this one, no latency. No latency means no delay. It's real time OLAP and OLTP. Which once the transaction will happen, automatically that will start reflecting in your analytical report. No data duplication, ready to use content integration scenarios with this terminology you won't be able to understand until you like watch some or just study some basis part. Okay, why we are saying no latency. So persistent memory. So there are a number of concepts are there. So which you won't be able to understand now, but just for understanding purpose, just remember no latency, there's no delay, no data duplication, ready to use content, integration scenarios with the SAP BW, full ABAP lifecycle integration, supporting ERP authorization, supporting ERP hierarchies, part of the general extensibility concept, supporting more business cases, analytics, search, fact checks, planning. Okay, this is HANA database layer, this is application layer, and this is presentation layer. Application layer is basically ABAP. So once we try to run any report from here, so basically we request some data. So ABAP layer just do some query like uh, join this, fetch the data from this. So it sends the request to database layer. And this receives the information from database layer and this presents to you. Okay, this is how the flow happens in SAP HANA Embedded Analytics. So SAP Cloud for Analytics, SAP Business Objects, BI, SAP Lumira. So there are various tools available in SAP now for your analytical requirement. Okay. SAP Smart Business Cockpits, multiple dimensional reports, currency browser, analytical Fury apps, query designer. Query designer, once this is enabled now, you would be able to see the reports in Excel. Okay. SAP Fury KPI modeler, KPI, if there is any KPI which management wants to monitor it, so you can develop the KPI also. ABAP for Eclipse, SAP HANA Live versus SAP HANA Embedded Analytics. SAP S/4HANA Embedded Analytics. So SAP HANA Live, and these are the comparison. Application SAP S/4HANA, SAP S/4HANA, SAP Business Suite powered by S/4HANA, SAP Business Suite, SAP S/4HANA, SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA, SAP Business Suite, non-SAP applications. This is all supported by SAP BW, which is not supported by HANA Live, like non-SAP system. So this is not supported here. Deployment, co-deployed, sidecar, and code deployed. So these are the deployment options. Reporting, embedded. So, see, if you have any questions related to any time now, so you can always refer to SAP HANA deployment options. Okay, so there are two options: cloud, on-premise, or maybe both. Okay, so there are two main S/4HANA deployment options. Okay, so you can always Google it and you can find the answers related to it. So never refer any such, means better you always refer SAP help portal. Okay. SAP S/4HANA Embedded Analytics, it uses the data source as SAP data. This also HANA Live also uses the SAP data, but BW uses SAP and non-SAP data. Data cleansing and harmonization, no. Yes, it happens in BW system. Reporting, embedded operational reporting and real-time decision making, operational reporting and real-time decision making, enterprise data warehousing, historical compliance and operations. So here we could store the historical data as well. Understanding the SAP finance perspective, what are the things are there, ledger and currency settings and all. So we'll start configuring these things as well. So challenges of architecture before S/4HANA Finance: universal general single source of truth, list tables replaced by compatibility views, which we have discussed already, non-disruptiveness, universal general extensibility configuration, introducing Fury. Okay, so these are the new introductions here in S/4HANA. So challenges of architecture before S/4HANA Finance. So everything we require to reconcile with each other. The data which we are posting in in asset accounting. So that we are having the separate table for asset data to store. The GL transaction related things, they were having a separate tables, BKPF and BSA. So these things were getting stored in two different tables. So that's the reason it was having a kind of reconciliation requirement. So something if you wanted to post only asset accounting. So uh, how, like, suppose your GL balance and asset balance were not matching. Okay. So these things were happening earlier, right? So we were doing some kind of report running and all. Right now, this many things has got reduced now. Okay. No profit center and no GL account in asset accounting totals. Different levels of detail due to 999 document line item limits. See, although SAP claims just for your information, although if you see the length of line item field in AC doca is 6 digit. Okay, means in a document, how many line item could exist? So these many line items could exist. Okay, in S/4HANA system. But this is not the truth, okay? Because still data is getting stored in BSET table, so still the limitation is 999 only, okay? But wanted to show you something. If you open AC11, okay, so once you make any posting, so this is getting stored in your BSEG also. If I just display here, so this is still the transparent table. This is not view. Okay, means still this limitation. Bellner length is, sorry, not Bellner, BUZDI, number of line item within accounting document. So length is 3. So still it is having limitation of 999. Okay, 999 means maximum 999 line item could exist in a single document. Okay, because of the limitation of 999. But why they say AC Roga means it's, if I just open AC Roga system in front of you. How many of you understand the concept of ledger? Even see, even in ECC system, we have the ledgers, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so anyone can tell me like what is the use case for ledger? Like we have group ledger, text ledger, different ledgers we have. So suppose for auditing purpose, we want to present one. For text, we have a different ledger where we have different set of rules, and it is based on currency also. So like this, up to some extent, yes. Anybody else? Like couple of people are working on S4 HANA system also, if I recall correctly. In the last session, someone mentioned like they are started working in S4 HANA system. So have you observed any use case for S4 HANA system, like ledger concept? Anyone? I guess a couple of participants are missing today, but yeah, okay.
Used case meaning is it a leading, non-leading, and extension ledger or underlying ledger? If that's what you mean.
Yeah. Correct. Type of
Yeah.
ledger, what you're trying to say, maybe you understand the concept. So yeah, these are the type of ledgers that exist in S/4HANA system. Okay. So what Mr. Manu has mentioned, that is absolutely correct. So basically, like we have a different reporting requirement. Okay. So in that case, we can use a different, we configure many multiple ledgers. So Jira L, basically this is called as the leading ledger. Then non-leading ledger N1, N2 we can configure, or maybe other name we could take also, not an issue. Maybe L1 for local reporting requirement. So this kind of ledgers we can define. Okay. So why I ask this concept, because in S4HANA AC Doga will have RLDNR field, means ledger. Okay. So same, once we, let me just parallelly open basic table. So is easy. This is 16H. If I run it for, let me just open basic table. So in this case, we don't have the ledger here in. Ledger informations are not getting stored in basic table. Okay. So if I just run it for 2024, let me open one document. Let me take this one. Control C. Let me just go back. So if I had taken one document, so in BSEC, against this document, two line items exist. Okay. But when I go and check in ACID, okay? So company code 1710, fiscal year 2024, document number. Here basically system is using only one ledger. So that's why we are able to see only few records. But let me get some other document. Wait a second. Looks like someone might have disabled other ledgers. I need to check in the system. Okay. I need to find the see basically like against the entries in your basic table. So suppose we have two line items. Okay. So this is getting posted for 0L and other ledgers say 2L, 3L, whatever be. So against these two line items in basic, you would find just exactly double. If suppose you have two ledgers, so you find two entries, 0L, two entries for 0L and two entries for 2L. Okay, but there is a chance where like you can just post to the specific to any particular ledgers. So it looks like something has been posted specific to the ledger. So that's why it is showing only two entries. Getting my point? So here, suppose you have triple nine line items in basic table. Okay. So as many number, suppose here for each document, one document, it's having triple nine line items. Okay. So in ACID, okay, how many line items would exist? It will have the triple nine line items for 0L. Then the same document will have entries against other ledgers, the same triple nine line items. So suppose it is using three ledgers. Okay, so the number of line items it will contain is triple nine into three. Okay, getting my point? In B6, suppose we have one document is having triple nine line items in B6. Okay, in B6 against one document. So in ACIDOCA, it will have triple nine line items against 0L. Okay, then triple nine line items against 2L. So suppose the other ledgers we are using is 2L. So each ledger against each ledger, it will have 999 records in SAP. So see, for one document, it is having 999 plus 999 plus 999 means more than 999 line items, right? So this is the benefit of having this uh, line item length of. If I just go and show you the length, so it's now document. Where is RLDM book was? Yeah, this one. GL ledger line item. So earlier in basic, it was having the length of 3. 3 means maximum 999 line item was possible to store in basic. But this limitation has overcome now. Like it can store these many line items against this document. How many? So 6 digit. 3, 3, 3. Clear now? So same thing, like it stores the ACDOCA, it stores the data or GL related data. Means once we post any entry, it's like asset acquisition. So it will have the transaction in GL also, and it will have data from asset accounting perspective as well. So those data of ledgers and subledgers both are getting stored in the same table, universal general table. The older table will exist as a views, compatibility views. It will not like the data will not exist or table will not exist, but not as a transparent table, as a compatibility views. Compatibility views means it does not store the data. Whatever data is getting stored in universal general table, so that it will show you. Okay. Views and transparent table. How many of you understand the difference? What is the difference between views and table? This stores the data, okay, and the views does not store the data. It just display the data, okay. I mentioned in the last session SQVI query.
Right. Yes.
SQVI is built on top of some tables. Means you can join multiple tables and you can pull all the columns which you wanted to view. Okay, so this fetches based on the table, fetches the records, whatever we had requested and the way we have designed our views. The same way, the just to uh, uh, allow the system to run the older reports, okay, the compatibility views still exist so that the older programs does not start failing, because there will be some, there will be some program which might have been running the query like select from A and EK tables. So this is basically asset related tables, right? A and EK tables, and select A and EK, select field 1, field 2, field 3 from A and EK table. So it will start filling, because if this table does not exist, then it will start filling. So if this exists as a compatibility views, okay, suppose let me say BSIS. Index table, say. Okay, so it exists as a CDS view. Okay, so this exists, so your program will not fail. Program will continue. So if there is any query BSIS, so if this does not exist at the viewer table, so here you get some dump error. Okay, but because this exists as a compatibility views, so your older program will continue to run. It won't fail. Index tables have been removed: BSIS, BSS, BSID, BSAD, BSIK, BSAK, BSIM. These are all removed now. NLP, so NLP, but this exists as a view. So if I just go back, so this is not transparent table, which exists as a view, which does not exist as a view, or which exists as a transparent table. So you just enter the name here and you click on display. So if it is a transparent table, then it will show you as a transparent table here. It does not exist as a table, but exists as a view. So you just, if you enter the name of the table and you click on the display, so it will show you this exists as a view. This is no more table, means it will not store the data. Okay, getting my point? So if I say talk about GLT 0, GLT 0 is a basically total table, right? So if I just enter the GLT 0, click on this. So this exists as a CDS view. You will not be able to identify the difference if you see the data. But the difference is looking at these characteristics. So it exists, but as a view. Yes, it is just showing you the data. It is not storing any data. If I just talk about NEP. So NEP, I click, this exists as a NEP transparent table. Okay. Fackel Flexa. So this is new ledger table. Fackel Flexi, Fackel Flexa. This is a transparent table. Okay. It's talking about this data where it gets stored, SLOCA, BSEC, BCA, FISL, cost-based COPA. So now we can just start with our uh, agenda. So definition of company code, definition of company, definition of business area, functional area, fiscal year variant, maintain fiscal year variant, assign company code to fiscal year variant. So configuration steps are this: check currencies, translation ratios, exchange, leading, non-leading, exchange and ledger, define settings for ledgers and currency type, define user-defined currency types, update global currency conversion for company. So let me just quickly go to the system, SPRO. So we go to the SPRO, SAP reference IMG, enterprise structure. So here we start our definition. In the financial accounting, here we could create our company code. So let me just edit. So if you wanted to copy any company code, so you can just click on copy button from 1710 to say T171, something sort of we can use, can copy, click on. So only copy the GL accounts if you want to allocate the same chart of accounts to the target company code. So suppose we wanted to use the same chart of account, okay? So I will say yes. You can copy the GL account also. Controlling area is assigned to company code 17. Do you want to copy the assignment to controlling area? So the same 8000 we will be using for T171. Yes, we'll say yes. The reference company code has a local currency USD. If you allocate a different local currency to the target company code, GL accounts are also changed. Do you want to allocate a different local? So I will say no, I wanted to use the same USD. Okay. So like that, we will say yes. Customizing settings inconsistent, we will see. Number ranges, do you really want to transport the number ranges? So if I say yes, so it will copy the number ranges as well. So it will ask you to customizing request, okay? Whether you wanted to customize and keep it in this. So we could see, check this transport request. What is this meant for? So this has been used by us. So for the configuration and making the changes in these things. Okay. So these are the things which has been maintained in this TR. Maybe we'll create a separate TR. Okay, we won't use it. For devices settings also exist, BS6, GBB, PRD, UMB. So these things have been configured here. So let us use a different TR. We won't save it. I hope you all understand the concept of this TR, right? So we will create our own TR, new TR, right? And say yes. It will create another TR. We'll say yes. Okay. So this is how we can copy the company code if we wanted to copy from the existing structure. These are the steps that we have to follow. Okay, controlling area related, document splitting related, account receivables related, account receivables related. Okay, running procedures and payable, PP creation, account payable, taxes on sales, withholding tax. So configuration related to tax codes, accounts payable, foreign cash generation. So these are all topics we're gonna touch base upon in our upcoming slides. Let's see the different Fury apps available. We try to open the Fury apps, right? It's taking a bit of time to worry. If you wanted to import the interval, so we can import it as well, or we can ignore it. We do not want to. So say yes. So if we do not want to copy it, we can just say no, no. So this has been sub-object 1710 overlaps with interval 02, sub-object 1710. Something is the error here. Or stop intervals remaining 0 on objects. Okay, so it encountered some issue in copying your number range. So maybe we can just say stop, or maybe you can just try again. Enter a year greater than 000. Okay, so let us not copy this one, maintain it later. in copying the number range, it is finding some error related to overlap, so we can just ignore it. So this got completed. Okay, copied. So this has got completed. So once we copy the company code, what we do? We go to T171. So this has like copied the same description of 1710. So we can just update here T171. So here we could see the address details if we wanted to make any changes in the address details, so that we can remove from here. Can just say yes. So our company code got copied. Okay. Let me open the file which we have to follow, like configuration steps or sessions that we have to follow. Let me share it. I was asking like how many of you know how to create the company code, company assignment, these basic steps? Yes, Rahul. I have worked on it. Okay. So actually there is no difference in terms of creation of company code. Basic setting up your basic steps. Where is the difference? I'll just reiterate when we come to that configuration steps. So we can, once we have to create the company code from scratch, so what we do, go into this node, create the company code T172, then you provide the name of the company code T172, then city say Bangalore, then country say India, so INR currency, then language EN. So like that we create the company code from the scratch. I will just save it. It will ask me for other details, address and all. So let me just provide country code and then let me save it. Other details we can just ignore because whatever is star marked fields, those are mandatory fields. Without that, it won't allow you to save. So I just put the data in the mandatory fields. Other I just skipped. If I just go here and check in transaction OBY6, let's go OBY6. So we could see our company code has been created, T171. So we copied this one, right? So it copied all the details. Chart of account also, YCOA, 1000. Let me parallelly open another session. So if I just open 1710, see here we have the country region US, and here also US currency USD EN. So this has exactly copied all the configuration and mapping from the 1710. So if I just go and check the 1710 version, so it's also having the chart of account, US, USD currency variant K4, fiscal variant. Then, so if I just go back to this, you could see the same, exactly the same thing got copied here. Field status variant, posting period variant, workflow variant. So everything has got copied here. Exactly. Right. So if I just check in T171, so we won't be able to find the, sorry, 172. So we won't see the chart of account mapping, company code mapping, currencies are different. Okay. Countries is different. Okay. If we wanted to make any changes in we copied first the company code and we wanted to change. So right now we can make the changes. So suppose we wanted to remove this, we don't want to use this credit control area. So we can just remove it and we can just save it. We'll see everything in detail. But if we wanted to use the same, so we can just keep it. What was it? Maybe it's 1710, huh? Okay. Okay, leave it. So like that, we create the company code. So company code is the legal, it represents your legal entity. So as many number of legal entity you have, so you need to create that many number of company codes. So legal entity means legal reporting requirement we derive at company code level. This is the smallest business unit at which you basically derive your balance sheet, P&L statement and all. Okay. All the configurations, the basic part we have already covered. What is the introduction? Which table got introduced? What is the difference between the ECC system and this S4HANA system? What are the deployment options we have in S4HANA? Basically, deployment options like we can have on-premise version, we can have cloud version, or could be mix of both. Cloud version implementation, okay. So, or could be both. So these three options we have, deployment options we have now. So if you wanted to have your dedicated server, so you can go with the on-premise cloud versions also. So in the cloud, we have multiple options, single tenancy and multiple tenancy. Okay, tenancy is single tenancy, owning the whole server. Multiple tenancy means same server has been shared by multiple customers. Okay, so these are the benefits we have now in S4HANA systems and deployment options. Obviously, like on-premise maintenance and cost is like more. Cloud versions is in terms of maintenance perspective, so it is comparatively should be cheaper. Okay, these are the benefits we have. This is cost effective. Okay.